Hello everybody and welcome to the Anthony C. Quinn Memorial Natatorium, where we will be bringing you what is sure to be an exciting swimming meet between the Warwick Wildcats and Minisink Warriors. I'm Theodore Fernandez. I'm joined by Coach Ryan Candia. Coach, what are your thoughts on this match?
Well, Minisink and Warwick are traditional rivals and foes in many sports such as football and basketball and other sports. Warwick comes into this meet with a record of 4-3. They have a strong swimmer in Jesse Abramson. The divers are kind of young, so that might be a little tough for them to score points in that. But we expect this meet to come down to the wire, to come down to the relay at the end. And we're just looking for a good competition. They've been training hard. They're under the tutelage of Coach Humane and Coach Danaher, who have been running this program for the last 2 years. And we're just looking for a very good competitive meet from these swimmers.
It is sure to be exciting. It should go down to the wire. I'm excited for it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our coverage of the match.
Cancer, in simple terms, is a disease in which a person's cells grow uncontrollably and spread to other parts of the body. This disease can develop almost anywhere in the human body, resulting in many different types of cancer, some more deadly than others depending on the stage. To go to show how fatal this unfortunate disease really is, did you know that cancer was the second leading cause of death after heart attack in the United States in 2019? In 2019, there were 599,601 cancer deaths, many living with stage 4 cancer living less than 5 years after diagnosis. But what if there was a way to help? The American Cancer Society is a nationwide and community-based voluntary health organization that its main mission is to free the world from cancer. Until that goal is reached, the American Cancer Society will be funding and contracting research, sharing experts' information, and supporting patients and spreading the word about the prevention worldwide. Donate today and help those who fight each day for a better, healthier life.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Anthony C. Quinn Memorial Natatorium. It is time for what is sure to be a thrilling swim meet.
And the first race here is a 200 medley relay. We got a Warwick team in lane 1, in lane 3, and lane 5, and they're already off. This relay starts with the backstroke, goes to the breaststroke, third wing is the fly, then it ends with the freestyle. As you can see, lane 4 out to a pretty quick start. Okay, that is a Minisink squad. On their squad is Jack Bellatari, Jackson Hajuz, Dylan Sullivan, and Connor Lynch. And there's lane 3 for Warwick. You got Connor Holland, Xander Trezino, Youssef Mustafa, and Jesse Abramson will be the anchor on that one. There's a Minisink coach on deck urging her swimmers on. Looks like lane 3 will go to leg 3. That's Youssef Mustafa diving in the pool for the Cats.
Mustafa has had a great run so far as a Wildcat swimmer. Was part of a record-breaking run last year in this medley. See if Warwick can recapture that. Right now, he has a healthy lead for his squad.
So Warwick thinks this meet's going to be close. I was talking to Coach Danaher before the meet, and she said this could come down to the last race today. That should be Jesse Abramson in lane 3 for the Cats, anchoring this relay.
We all know what Abramson is capable of. By far the best wrestler on this team. We've highlighted him already.
And he's got a shot at a 100 free school record, and let's see him finish the race here.
That's a name that we'll be calling a lot today.
And that's Warwick A in lane 3, anchored by Jesse Abramson. Lane 4, that's a Minisink team, will take second. There's another Warwick team in lanes 1. Elijah Jean is the anchor. They should be coming to the top of the screen relatively shortly.
And Minisink in lane 2 comes in, followed by Warwick in lane 1. And that should do it for this one.
That is not Eliza Jean in lane 1. So Warwick takes the first event here, first place. Jesse Abramson brings it home for the Cats. As you can see, the lanes in places there. And there's Elijah finishing up. They're still on leg 4. So Caswell Gluckstein was the third leg swimming the fly. And then here you got Elijah Jean bringing it home for the Cats in the freestyle. I had Elijah in class, great kid, loves Biggie Smalls and wearing Yankee hats. Okay, so Warwick will take the 200 medley relay. Next up is the 200 freestyle.
This race is going to feature Quinn Nowakowski in lane 1, 8th grader Connor Holland in lane 3, and Caden Nagel in lane 5 for the Wildcats. Meanwhile, Minisink has Matt Mohanan in lane 4, Dennis Ivanov in lane 2, and Andrew Hines in lane 6.
Okay, so good start for the Cats there. They get a victory in the first race, which was the 200 medley relay. I'm sure they're happy about that because this is going to be a close meet. Cats are currently 4-3. They've had 7 meets, and we're approaching mid-January here. This season really culminates in mid-February to late March if you're going to try to make a peek at the state meet.
Here we go. They're off. And they're starting to take their strokes. Pretty close race so far. Looks like Warwick is pulling ahead in lane 3. That is
Connor Holland for the Wildcats. So this is the freestyle. This is here in the summer, and it's July 9th, and it's a hot day out. This is the race that the casual swimmer will do in their own pool. First lap looks like lane 3 in the lead.
This is impressive to watch. Connor Holland has exceeded expectations as an 8th grader on this team. He's been dominant, but 2 Minisink swimmers directly behind him.
And lane 3 is in the lead. Connor Holland for the Cats, and this style of swim is your casual style. Looks like the Cats will take first place in this one. Lane 4 is a Minisink swimmer in second place.
That is that's only 100. As we
Halfway through the race,
Connor Holland is growing his lead. Mohanan and Ivanov are trying to give chase, but they are fading quick. This could end up being, he could win this thing by a full lap if he keeps up what he's doing. This is a dominant performance by Connor Holland. You know, it makes you wonder what this kid is capable of in a couple years, seeing as he's only 13 years old right now.
yeah, I mean, he could have 4 more years as a varsity athlete. That's a long time. He could break some pool records, maybe some school records, and try to qualify for states. A lot of times the state championships at Ithaca College, I got a nice pool. I had the pleasure of going there one year. I did one stint as a dive coach, and I was really impressed with how they ran that competition.
He is just a machine right now. We have Mohanan kind of clearing up the gap a little, but this is a dominant win. We'll see how the rest of the race shakes up.
Yeah, let's see if Monahan and Ivanov can hold on to the second and third spots for the Warriors. So Warwick will finish first. Another first place finish for the Cats. I'm sure they're happy about that.
How about it? Connor Holland, great performance. Let's see what he can do the rest of the night as the rest of the swimmers are coming in.
And you see the swimmers after each race, they look up at the board, see if they're impressed with their times. I would think they're still in training mode of the season. You know, because the fall season starts in around Thanksgiving, and we're almost halfway through, and goals are different for different kids. You know, Connor's only in 8th grade, so I don't know if he's eyeing the state meet as, like, let's say a Jesse Abramson is, who's already got the standard in at least one event, and he's going for the standard in another event, according to his coach, who I talked to before this swim competition.
All right, the swimmers are clearing out of the pool, and it is going to be time for the
200 IM.
200 IM. Logan Armistead is in lane 1 for the Cats, followed by Jesse Abramson in lane 3 and junior Ben Pittiger in lane 5. Meanwhile, Minisink is rolling out senior Jack Bellatier, who we've been told is a dominant swimmer. And Dylan Sutherland is in lane 2 and Anthony Kakuza in lane 6.
So the order of the medley in this is the butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. So it's a little different than the 200 medley relay we saw in terms of what styles will be swam in what leg.
This is the race that you really just have to be incredibly well-rounded for, even more than just a 50 IM, because this just requires so much work.
This pool has kind of evolved over the years. It's called the Anthony C. Quinn Memorial Pool. He was a swimmer who died at a young age, and his parents coached this program for a long period of time. They finally retired. I think they moved to North Carolina. I got to work with them. They're great people. And this is the second year that this program is under Coach Mahon, who's a teacher at Warwick Valley High School. And then Coach Danaher is also joined.
As we are reaching the 50-yard mark, Jesse Abramson has a very solid lead so far. Giving chase is Dylan Sutherland, I believe, for the Minisink squad.
And Jesse Abramson is probably the Cats' top swimmer who's already qualified for the state meet in an individual event. And I think he's going to try to qualify in another event as well today.
Yeah, he's had a great season. You know, it's just years of hard work finally paying off. You know, junior year's a time where it comes together for a lot of guys.
And a lot of these guys, you know, if they're really into it, will swim for clubs on the off season. I know there's one called Aqua Gems. There used to be a club called the New Jersey Sharks. I know he swims for a club. I'm not sure which one, but you can see all that hard work is paying off. Now we're into the breaststroke, the third stroke of this IM.
Jack Bellatier is trying to give chase. There's a huge drop-off after him. He's still within striking distance. He's going to need to pick it up a little, though. But after him, there's no one even remotely close to these two.
And this could be a very tiring race because you've got to do all four strokes, so it takes a lot of endurance. You know, and this is also a part of the season where they're probably training through these meets, and they'll peak later in mid-February or early March.
Abramson is on a roll right now, as we have reached the final leg of the medley.
Yes, that would be the freestyle as he hits the flip turn here, and he looks pretty confident, calm, and poised as nobody is really near him.
We are going to take a look at the time. I'm sure he's hoping that he did something cool here, record-wise.
And there he is,
see how it goes.
In first place. He'll look up at the board for his time. Who touched down second? That would be lane 4, Matt Monahan for the Warriors, correct?
That's actually Jack Bellatier, who is a senior captain, I've heard, for this Minisink squad. We have a couple more guys coming in. It is going to be Anthony Kuza for Minisink, I believe.
And there you see the places in lane 1, 239. First place was Abramson. Second place, lane 4, Matt Monahan. And then that's Jesse, correct?
Yes, Jesse won the race in
yes.
lane 3.
There you go. Looks pretty happy.
His day is far from over, though. We will see him in the majority of the events going forward.
And there's Coach Mahon in her second year. She's a special ed teacher here at Warwick. I think she swam for the Cats back in the day as a high school student.
Okay, up next we have a 50 free exhibition. We have Elijah Jean in lane 1 for the Wildcats, Theo Zamuski out of Seward in lane 3, and Thomas McNamara in lane 5. Meanwhile, Minisink is going to roll out Ryan Murphy in lane 4, Connor Lynch in 2, and Nick Ivanov in lane 6.
So obviously exhibition means that it doesn't count, but it's good for these swimmers that train hard. They want to see their hard work pay off. I never did competitive swimming myself, but I did track. And, you know, if you believe in the program, you believe in the training, you believe in your coach, your times usually do improve if you consistently show up. And that's what these guys are looking for, looking to improve their times and hopefully peak by the end of their season.
Swimmers, get set. And they're off.
Lane 3 out to a great start off the block there.
That is Seward's Theo Zamuski.
Theo really taking it to the competition here. Great flip turn as well. He got a lot of push off from that wall. That's a skill that's very important in decreasing times here in these swim events.
This is one of Seward's 2 wrestlers on the team. He's a senior. Been swimming for years at this point, and he clearly is a very gifted swimmer.
So Theo wins, and the 50 free is such a quick hit, out and back. You know, it's like you're in somebody's backyard in July, like I said earlier, and just like, hey, let's do a swim race. Who's the quickest? You know, and just kind of go out and you do the crawl, and it's just all or nothing in this race.
It appears as if I was
believe this
incorrect in my previous statement. We have we are now at the actual 53, which will
This
feature
is the
Aiden-
scoring.
yeah,
This is the scoring race. Yes.
Aiden Corrigan, Youssef Mustafa, and Michael Kelly for the Wildcats. And the swimmers for Minisink will be Ryan Murphy, Connor Lynch, and Nick Ivanov this time.
Yeah, so this one counts. So these are the top dogs for both squads. 50 freestyle, backyard pool style. Just go out, aggressiveness, touch back. Let's see who gets back first in one lap. Aiden Corrigan played football for the Cats. I had him in class as a junior. Very nice kid, hard worker. Let's see if he can get a victory here out of lane 1. He's a very tall kid.
All right, they're set, and they're off.
Looks like 3 and 4 are out quickly. In lane 3 for us is Youssef Mustafa.
They are neck and neck right now. This should be a fun one.
This turn will be big here. Who can push off better? Oh, looks like the Minisink Warriors got the better push-off turn.
Mustafa's right behind Murphy. Can he make a run for it? They are neck and neck, and it looks like Murphy pulls ahead and will get first. Mustafa puts up a solid effort and claims second.
Great race out of lanes 3 and 4. Murphy got, I think, the first place finish for the Minisink Warriors today. That'll bode really big in the team score at the end here. He's got to be pretty happy with that performance.
It's such a fun race to watch because, you really it's sprint from the get-go, and you get to see.
It's a sprint, and it's such a quick hit. It's
yeah.
kind of like your 100-meter dash in track and field.
The winning time is 24:38, coming in at just about 0.4 of a second faster than Mustafa. These split-second finishes are what make.
And I can't do the math in my head right now, Theo, but it's got to be a close beat point-wise as we now turn to the diving competition. And to come on, and as the color analysis, is former Warwick Wildcat diver, Dr. Gregory Voloshin.
There have always been homeless animals as long as we've had pets. More and more animals are killed or abandoned every year. However, organizations exist, such as the Warwick Valley Humane Society, which strive to end this. The Warwick Valley Humane Society is dedicated to improving the lives of these animals. They have programs to rescue animals and provide them with new homes or to return them to their original owners. While strongly encouraged, this isn't the only way that you can help. The Humane Society is currently raising money to build a new shelter. Even if you can't adopt an animal yourself, please consider donating. Any donation, no matter how small, will aid in the construction of a new, adequate shelter for these animals. You can visit wvhumane.org to make your donation or to adopt an animal in need.
All right, welcome back. It is time for some diving here. Starting out with Minisink diver Luke Odland.
All right, the dive event halfway through. Nice to be with you, Theodore. Great that had the Warwick Communications Department putting on this production for our swimming and diving program. Always great. Always a great rivalry between Minisink and Warwick as well in many different sports locally. That first diver was a Minisink diver, so just a little background on how dual meets work. There is a required dive and then followed by 5 optionals. So this week, the front category is the required dive. There are 5 categories in diving. You have your fronts, you have your backs, you have reverses, where you jump off the board as you're going in on a front jump, and then you go back towards the board like a back dive. Inward, where you're on the board backwards, jumping in towards the board, and the twisting category. This here is Mars Ranieri for Florida, trains here at Warwick. With a pretty nice dive, a little bit rough on the diving board. Took the jump up pretty well and lost his toes on the bottom. Should be a mid-range score on his 1.5 pike. 2 5.5s and a 6.5, not bad. Mars currently is ranked 15 in. He's currently ranked 15th in Section 9, and he has a lot of ability, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with him in the future.
Now the Minisink dive is.
Yeah, really nice top on that. Brought his knees up to his chest a little bit and lost his feet on the bottom, but again, should be a nice competitive score, similar to that of Mars's.
That was Harry Lockowitz for the Warriors.
So consistency is key in diving. And, you know, in the high school meet, especially at the high school level, if you could stay between that 5 and 7 range consistently, you're going to be very successful at this event. And here we have Lucas Wensley, 8th grader for Warwick, and this is actually his first year diving in competitive meets. And he has very good jumping ability, very, very nice toe point and legs, working on all those fundamentals as a middle schooler, and he has a lot of ability. We're looking forward to what the future holds for him, and he comes out with a really nice dive, 2 6s and a 5.5.
Yeah, no, it's I've always found it amazing that you get these 8th graders at all levels, swimming and diving here, that are just able to come in and be so competitive. What's it like getting to coach these guys over the course of 5, 6 years and getting to see them grow?
Yeah, you can definitely set a good base with them when you get in earlier, as in any sport. And you can see right here the Minisink diver, Luke Odlin. He's a senior, and this is the one sport where you have seniors and middle schoolers competing against each other. And it's really a great community. It's really a great individual sport, as swimming is, where you can have that team atmosphere, but also individually work on your skills. So 6s for Odlin for Minisink, and he seems to be in the lead right now. Now you have Harry Lockowitz for the Minisink Warriors. And Minisink brings in a lot of experience. You have Luke, who just went. You have Harry, who's up now. Juniors, seniors coming back, and they're a pretty good 1-2 punch for the Minisink Warriors. Here we have Lucas Langone for Warwick. He's our top diver here at Warwick, 9th grade, doing a great job this year. All right. Good jump on the takeoff, put his head down a little bit and didn't fully extend on the bottom there, Theodore. And because of that, he left his feet a little bit flat, and he should be in the 5 range.
And it looks like you were right. One judge gave him a 6 there, but 5.5 for the most part.
We're going to take that 6. We're not going to give that back.
Okay.
We're going to take that.
Maybe a little hometown bias here.
All right, and that's Lockowitz right there. He got a really nice board ride on that takeoff and finished that dive pretty well. That's solid. Yep, and there's your leader right now after round 1 for Minisink. So one of the great things, too, about diving, and you know, we can use this as a little bit of a PSA, if you're an athlete that plays another type of sport and you want to get faster, stronger, throw the ball a little bit farther, want to jump higher, swimming and diving is the perfect supplement for that. If you're not playing a winter sport, go see Coach Sirico in the athletic office, get some information. Join us next year. Okay, now that was actually a reverse dive. That was demonstrating the front jump and then bringing his knees up to his chest and going into the opposite direction towards the board. A little bit loose on the bottom and probably won't score that great. However, easier said than done. You know, it's really easy from an outside perspective to critique the athletes that are being judged by 3 judges. But to become consistent at a sport like this, it takes an awful lot of work, and I give these guys a lot of credit. Back 1.5 for Mars. And he needs to hold on to that tuck a little bit longer so he can get vertical on the bottom. Every dive wants to go in vertically, no matter what direction you're going in, with good toes and pointed feet. Mars had a great jump on that, let go a little bit early, leading with his head, left his knees a little bit bent. That's why he got the 4s and the 3.5. Okay, looks like we got a front double somersault coming here. 2 flips landing on his feet. Okay. Got a good jump. Wasn't really fast on the rotation and didn't really fully extend on the bottom. When you're doing doubles or feet first entries, it's very important to get your body completely straight, kind of like you're standing up on ground, on solid ground, so you can go in really straight. And the scores reflected that. Okay, 8th grader, this is Lucas Wensley doing a 1.5 tuck. That's a flip into a dive. We're looking for him to keep his chest up and get a good jump on the start. Very nice for the 8th grader. Very nice. So you're getting it, Theo.
Yeah.
Less splash, good toes. Lucas Wensley definitely has some intangibles that are going to make him a very good diver in the future.
Now, what's the process like if you're someone like, you know, so young like that? Are you like, are you just trying to train as much as possible, go to club and stuff, and I'd imagine that's just the best way to get better?
Yeah. Just like any other sport, you know, when you're diving club and when you're training, it takes an awful lot of hours on task. Diving in particular has many components: flexibility, power, jumping, and above all, learning how to rotate and spin with proper technique in every direction. So the sooner you can master those fundamental skills, like building a house, a good foundation is going to make you more successful as you proceed with your career. And what you saw right there was a nice front 2.5 by Luke Odlin for Minisink. Got up and down for 5.5 sixes. And in diving, there's something called degree of difficulty. So that was a higher degree of difficulty dive, meaning it's harder. And with a 2.4 degree of difficulty, getting sixes, that's going to catapult him into the lead. Langone answers, though. That was a really nice front double for Lucas Langone. And that should score very well. I'm anticipating 6.5 on that.
And it looks like you hit it right on the dot there.
Yeah, Lucas has some really good intangibles and really good fundamentals as a 9th grader. We're really looking forward to him putting in more time and continuing to master his craft. Here we go, another 2.5 tuck. This is a big DD dive for Harry Lockwitz. Okay, good start. A little bit short there. Didn't quite extend like Luke Odlin earlier in the meet. He did duck his head and bring his knees up, and Harry knows it. And one of the interesting things about diving is you have one opportunity to go up there. You might be repping these dives 10 to 12 times a practice, but in a dive meet, you get one opportunity. So you have to make sure that that hurdle is consistent, the approach is consistent, and you execute every movement with precision. Okay, that's a reverse flip for the Minisink exhibition diver. I think that's Matt. He had to get his arms through a little bit more, finish that dive a little bit low. The board ride is so important. So early in a diver's career, what you're going to want to do is really learn how to use the diving board. It's kind of like a trampoline. Has a certain feel to it that's different than a trampoline. And the sooner you can kind of control the board ride and the smoother you can be on that board, the easier it is to spin. Mars Garcia, good reverse somersault right there. That was one of the better ones that he's done today. Should score fairly well on that one. Great top and got out nice and straight on the bottom. And there's our first 7.5, 7.
I believe that was the best overall score of the day so far.
Yeah, Mars really used the board well, got his knees up, and was very confident on the out. All right, there's a reverse dive. Again, a lot of good components to that dive. He needs to press out, look at his toes, and squeeze his legs a little bit tighter to really score those 7s. All right, this is Lucas Wensley now. This is a 5111A. This is the first twister we're going to see in the competition. It's a front dive, half twist. So you're starting like a front dive in the air, and you're flipping your body around into a back dive. He's very smooth, and when he hits it, it's a very nice dive. And he got it.
Wow.
A little bit far out, but again, the execution of the dive was very good. And Lucas, with those great intangibles, he can point his toes and he can really keep his legs straight. And there's a nice score on that dive, very consistent, and he's been consistent all day between that 5 and 6 range. That's exactly what we want.
Now, could you take us real quick through the what's going through the judge's mind as they're seeing this? Because we see relatively, similar scores usually.
Yeah, that's a good question. So they're looking at different components. They're looking first off at your confidence on your board. So right here you see Luke set up with his arms in a T. They're going to watch how high he jumps, his distance from the board, and then the execution of the dive in the air. And lastly, they're looking at the entry into the water. So are you pointing your toes? Are you vertical? And the amount of splash. So to simplify, the approach, the takeoff, the execution of what you're doing in the air, whether it's 20 flips or one, and then your entry into the water. And it's all subjective. It's all subjective. So that's where the training comes in. As a diver, you gain confidence and comfort in your training when you become more and more consistent. It's kind of like a baseball player with their swing. The more consistent you can be through the zone, the more you're going to connect with the ball. Okay, land going back semi straight and a lot of power, a little bit too much whip on that. But that dive demonstrates some of the ability that Lucas has. He's very explosive when the technique is correct. And as a freshman, we're going to harness those skills and we're going to keep working on him to make sure he has those bigger DD dives and he's confident with them. Okay, you got an inward 1.5 here for Harry. He's up and down as well. So the 2.2 difficulty dives in this round for both Minisink divers are going to pay them pretty well in that 5.5 to 6 zone. Now, many people watching this probably have watched diving in the Olympics at some point. And Olympic diving is 3-meter diving. This is actually the 1-meter springboard, which is recognized by the National Federation of High Schools as the official diving event in the country, and especially in New York State. High schools, unfortunately, don't have 3-meter facilities. I think that would make gym class a little bit more entertaining, though.
Absolutely. I'd love to jump off.
All right, boys, today we're learning 3-meter diving. I mean, that could be a lot of fun. Okay, and you might have seen a little bit of variation in the scores right there, from a 4 to a 5 to a 6. So that's where kind of the discrepancy of the judges comes in, where some judges may value the entry a little bit more, your position in the air a little bit more, or the jump a little bit more. Mars Garcia now having a great meet. Inward flip. We'll see if you can stand up out of this the same way as that reverse flip. So that dive had a lot of good components to it. Great jump, good spin, but he was not completely vertical going into the water.
I can only imagine, as someone who hasn't really dove that much, just how hard it is to, leap off the board and immediately, have to worry about all this stuff and getting yourself totally straight at the end.
Yeah. It is a difficult sport, and then throw on top of it that you have a crowd of people, watching and critiquing what you're doing up there. It's pressure-packed, and it's certainly not for everybody, but it's a great sport. Again, up and down, very nice dive. I would say the legs need to be squeezed a little bit tighter, and that dive can get to the next level. I have to say, so far, this is a very good diving meet. We're seeing a lot of good dives. We're seeing everybody up and down, good tops, confident diving. 8th grader Lucas Wensley, the youngest diver in the meet here, doing a back dive tuck. And a strong dive, just a little bit off balance that time. So he got back a little bit, and the distance from the board is going to reflect the scores, be reflected in the scores. Yep, a little bit too far out and not enough vertical. Jump on that. All right, now we're going to see some twists.
All right.
This is a front 1.5 with 1 full twist for the senior from Minisink, Luke. 2.2 difficulty. Very nice execution in the air. When he hit the water, you may have noticed he kept twisting on the water, put his head down. He needs to look through that bottom a little bit more. And that'll go. And that's where you see reflected in the scores. Someone might have missed the bottom there, but nevertheless, a very, very strong looking dive. Okay, Lucas Langone with a reverse dive tuck coming up, and this is one of the fundamental pillars of diving. And great job by Lucas, up and down, beautiful toe point extension. That should get sevens.
That is the best score of the day.
There you go, your first 8.5, very consistent for the freshman from Warwick, Lucas Langone. And again, that's what we were talking about earlier with the younger divers. We want to really build the foundation, really focus on those fundamentals early, so when you become a 10th, 11th, 12th grader, you can start really adding a lot of DD and difficulty to your list. It's a very nice twist through there by Minisink. Harry did a great job with that. Leaned back a little bit and lost his legs a tiny bit, but that should score a solid 6.5. And with the DD at 2.3, again, you have Minisink 1-2 right now, both at 153.9 and 153.00. All right, and that's a back dive half twist. So he takes off like a back dive and then flips his body around and goes in like a front. And again, middle of the road, solid. Could have pointed his toes a little bit more. Could have jumped up a little bit higher, and those 4.5s would quickly become 6s.
Now, oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was
Now,
gonna.
How much does strategy play into this? Because I'd imagine, you got to always take a look at the situation you're in. Like, are there times where guys will go for, a safer, more consistent dive that has less upside than others?
Yeah, absolutely. It all depends kind of where you're at in your training and what you're training. You have dual meets, you have championship season. So there are times when divers need to work on those harder degree of difficulty dives during the season where they might not hit it during a dual meet to the way they want to hit it, in a championship season. But you have to get mileage on the dive. You have to get that experience. And dual meets are a perfect opportunity to do that. And that's kind of where some of our divers here at Warwick are right now. We're in the process of learning some of those higher degree of difficulty dives, and you have to let it rip in some of these dual meets in order to have them confident for the championship season. Again, very nice dive. Could squeeze the legs a little bit more, but that's going to be consistent and straight up and down. It's going to be about 5.5, 6.
That's just the second 8 we've seen all day on that one there. Wow.
Yeah, that's a big-time scores late in the season. These divers are really pushing each other at this dual meet right now. A lot of high scores and a great display so far. This is a fun meet to watch. It'd be fun to be a spectator for this meet. Okay, and you can see the 8th grader jumping a little bit too far out now from the diving board. You can see his explosiveness. His takeoffs do need to go up into the air a little bit more without leaning back. But all that potential in 8th grade is going to be exciting to work with for the next 4 years.
Now, what's the recruiting process like here? Because I'd imagine, there are a bunch of kids who know, okay, I want to be a swimmer, I want to be a diver, but, how do you get kids to sign up to do this? Because it's a rough sport, swimming hours a day.
Oh, absolutely. It's actually pretty tough to recruit divers. For one reason or another. It's a pretty humbling sport when you step onto a diving board, especially if you're an athlete that's used to doing very, very well and it doesn't come to you that quickly. But if you are an athlete with good body awareness, which most are, you can certainly be very successful in the sport. As far as recruiting, announcements go to the high school office and put over the loudspeaker. You talk to your friends, you usually bring a friend to practice. It's one of those sports that you have to accept the fact that you're going to be humbled by it. It's difficult, but if you stick with it, it's one of the most gratifying sports you can do. Langone's heating up right now. He hit that reverse dive for an 8 and 7. This is going to be another high-scoring inward dive. Great lines going into the water. That being said, recruiting, if anyone is interested in diving after watching this telecast, come down to the pool, introduce yourself. We'd love to meet you, and we are always looking for more members to join our team. Great top on that. That was a great jump, perfect distance from the board. Just let go a little bit early and left it a hair short. All right, and now we are entering the final round of this competition. Everybody gets one last dive, one last optional.
Now, what's the process here, for a selection? Like, do you have a coach, in your ear telling you what to do? Or are these guys, are they coming out and making their own decisions on what they want to pull off?
I would say it's definitely a collaborative effort. And like we spoke about earlier, there certainly is some strategy as to what dives you want to throw when, if you're working on dives or not. But you generally work on your entire list during practice and choose the best dives you can. The only dive that everybody has to do the same is that first dive, that required dive. So we're in fronts week, so you can do a front dive, a front flip, front 1.5 is your required dive. Next week will be backs. I know right now Mars is having a great meet. This is inward 1.5. If he could stay over his toes and put a bottom on this, he's going to have a high score. Great start, a little bit loose on the bottom. If that scores 4.5, 5, he should have a new PR.
All right. That's got to be the best motivator, I imagine, out of everything in this sport, just knowing that, okay, I've done better than I've ever done my entire life.
It's hit the nail right on the head. It's, you versus yourself, and you can continually improve at the sport. You can continually get stronger, work on your jumping, your flexibility, your fundamentals, and you always have opportunities to improve. And that is a new high score for Mars right there. He could have kept his legs tighter, and that score would have been around the 170 zone, which is excellent. One of the great things about the sport too is, certain skills come easy to some people, and certain skills you might have to work a little bit more at individually. And it's different for everyone, so everybody has to kind of overcome their own obstacles to achieve in this sport, which is also great because just like life, nothing comes easy. You have to work hard, you have to set those goals, you have to have grit and perseverance, because everything doesn't always unfold the way you want it to, and nothing can demonstrate that more than the sport of diving. Because through the storm, there's nothing like the feeling on the other side. And here's Lucas Wensley's last dive, an inward dive tuck. He does do this dive very well. Let's hope he ends it on a very good note.
He looked like he pulled that off very well.
Yeah, great toe point. Lucas Wensley is super strong for an 8th grader. He can really jump, has great timing. Once we put another flip on that and he dives it in, that's going to be a very high scoring dive. And a 124 or 127 right there, that's another high score for Lucas Wensley, the 8th grader out of Warwick. Now, Luke Odlin right here is ranked 4th or 5th in the section right now with his high score. If he hits this dive, he should have a new PR. It's going to be close, a little bit short on the bottom. I would anticipate he needs about 35 points to break his PR. Yeah, and he's right in the neighborhood of his PR. I don't think he quite got there, but he's super consistent, 232. We're anticipating that he's going to have a very good championship season. And Lucas Langone's last dive is an inward flip. It's a lower degree of difficulty dive, but again, Lucas does have great form. Let's see if he can get vertical on the bottom. There you go. A little bit far out. Does get vertical on the bottom. That should be about a 6-point dive. Another solid outing for Lucas Langone. He's been very steady for the Wildcats this year. 182 isn't quite his highest score this year. We're going to have to add some degree of difficulty. 9th grade, he's ready. He's ready to take that next step. We're excited for that. Here's our last dive of the contest. Okay, a little bit short on the bottom. Came out early, threw his head back on the takeoff. Very impressive meet, though, by Harry from Minisink. He's improved greatly, and he, again, is going to be a diver that you're going to have to watch during championship season. He's going to be good for a lot of points for the Minisink Warriors.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
It was great getting to talk to you and learning about this whole dive process, which was very entertaining to watch. I'm sure all the fans watching at home appreciated it as well. So,
great to be with you. Keep up the good work, and War Communications, keep up the good work. Thanks for coming out and supporting us here. Go Wildcats.
Go Wildcats, yes.
Getting a license and having a car are great privileges, but with that comes major responsibility. In New York State alone, slightly more than 30% of fatal car crashes are alcohol-related. Think about how many people are left injured, grieving, or attending someone's funeral from this tragic occurrence. Although there are harsher penalties for drunk driving now, this doesn't mean it hasn't been a severe ongoing issue in the U.S. You don't always hear about drunk driving accidents because there are too many each year and too many lives lost. On holidays or after parties, the risk of drunk driving is higher, but it is something that continues all year round no matter the time, place, or day. Next time you drink, especially in a public area, make sure you have someone sober with you or someone sober you can call just in case you aren't able to drive. For more information, visit mad.org. Don't be the reason someone gets hurt. Protect yourself and protect others. Let's put an end to drunk driving.
Okay, welcome back to Anthony C. Quinn Memorial Natatorium. It is time for the 100-yard butterfly. For the Wildcats, we have senior Aiden Corrigan in lane 1, sophomore Logan Armistead in lane 3, and freshman Caden Nagel in lane 5. The Warriors have Dylan Sutherland in lane 2, Jackson Houdris in lane 2 Sutherland in 4, and Matt Ricard in 6. The swimmers are ready. We are ready. This should be a fun one.
So, Theo, I talked to the coach of Warwick Valley after the dive competition, and Warwick is currently up 2 points in the meet, which is supposed to come down to the relays at the end. Here we go.
There's a fast start for the middle lanes, as is typical for most events. Right now, it's actually lane 2 in the lead. That's Jackson Houdris.
Logan Armistead in a pretty tight second, and that flip turn kind of killed him a little bit, and Minisink will maintain the lead here.
Yeah, he kind of just lost all his momentum that he had going, but he's starting to regain it. Let's see if he can get a better turn this time. It's a tight battle for second right now.
Yeah, it is tight battle for second. Looks like Minisink is pulling away in lane 2 there. Jackson Houdris, is that correct? Houdris?
That's what I'm rolling with, but he has a pretty healthy lead here. It doesn't look like anyone's going to catch him.
I wonder if they're aware that they're down 2 points and they want to come out really strong here after that dive competition.
Yeah, he's got a full half lap on second place right now, so it looks like this is pretty open and shut. Let's see who takes second once he touches, if we get the angle.
Jackson touched first, another Minisink swimmer in second. For Warwick in lane 3, I believe that's Logan Armistead who will take third place in this race.
So Minisink wins this one pretty healthily.
That's going to help them crawl back into the team competition score, which supposedly will come down to the end here, the 400 free relay, our last event, which we have a long time until we get to.
So as we are waiting for the finish here, I believe we are looking on Aiden Corrigan and one other guy at the end.
So Theo, I want to ask you, how was the dive competition with getting knowledge from Coach Voloshin?
Yeah, the dive competition was great. I mean, it was just amazing to see, you know, how how the judges work, and it was amazing to gain an appreciation for how the sport works.
Yeah, it's one of those very individualized sports where you need a coach with a lot of expertise and a lot of experience, and Coach Voloshin does have that.
Yeah, absolutely. I could tell just from listening to him right here that he knew all the judges' scores before they even gave him. It was amazing.
Yeah, pretty impressive. He's pretty animated too. What do we got up next here, Theo?
We have the 100 free. This should be a fun one. Quinn Nowakowski is in lane 1, Xavier Trezino, the senior, in lane 3, and Vinay Kamath in lane 5 for the Wildcats.
Quinn Nowakowski is a freshman for the Cats. Vinay Kamath, I believe, is a junior. I had him in class a couple of years ago in Honors Global. And let's see if they can get some points here for the Cats.
The Warriors will roll out Connor Lynch in lane 4, Dennis Ivanov in 2, and Matt Mahanan in lane 6.
And some of these guys for Minisink are on their second race. I think we saw Monahan in a race earlier and Ivanov. I don't think we've seen Connor Lynch swim yet, though, for the Warriors. Actually, correct. Correction, I just looked at the sheet. He swam in the 50 freestyle. So some of these guys might be getting tired, but that 10-minute break you get after the dive competition, and the dive competition, how long do you think that took? 20, maybe 30 minutes?
Yeah, I believe we had 6 dives per person. I'd say that was a good ballpark figure.
So maybe these guys who are multi-event swimmers can use that rest to their advantage. If you're a good swimmer with a lot of range, you could sprint, you can swim mid-distance and distance races. Like we have the 500 freestyle coming up. That's a huge endurance race right after this race. That's going to help you to get a little more rest in between your competitive races.
We have a bit of a hold-up on the start, but I'm sure we'll get set momentarily.
Yeah. Sometimes the officials have to make sure that I know in track they call it the fully automatic timing, FAT timing. The gun is directly linked to the computer, which goes to the board, and it gives you that instant result. And as you see below the lanes, they have those like the blue touch pads, and those are all linked to the electronic computer. I know in track and field they call that fully automatic timing. I'm sure it's the same in the swim world.
All right. They are off here in the 100 free. It is Connor Lynch in lane 4 who's off to the quick lead. He looks to have about a half length above second.
Yeah, so they'll go 4 half laps, 2 full laps, and that after the turn, it looks like the Warwick lane right next to Minisink did gain a little momentum, but the Minisink lead swimmer is still in the lead, and once again we have another flip turn there.
Dennis Ivanov has brought himself into it. He is neck and neck with his teammate Connor Lynch.
So you see Minisink going 1-2 there, trying to climb back into the team scoring, going ahead of Warwick after the dive competition.
And as we walk into the home stretch, it appears as if Minisink will take this one here. Connor Lynch and Dennis Ivanov are neck and neck as of right now, I believe.
Warwick Valley wants to hold on to a 3rd place here to keep that team score tight.
Yeah. I believe they got it. Still waiting on the results.
If that's the results from this race, that's 1st place lane 4, 2nd place lane 2, 3rd place lane 6.
It looks like Minisink swept here.
Wow. That's pretty big for them.
Brutal result for Warwick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got 3 times under 1 minute there. That's a pretty fast 100 freestyle race. Looks like there's a lot of happiness on the Minisink sideline there.
Well, the 100 freestyle is a race known for being a sprint. Now we have the marathon, the 500 freestyle.
Yeah, a lot of training, a lot of endurance goes into this race, and this is 20 laps in the pool.
Yeah, this should be an interesting one. Warwick is going to roll out only 2 racers this time. 8th grader Connor Holland, who we saw win earlier, and senior Caswell Gluckstein in lanes 3 and 5 respectively. Meanwhile, the Warriors are rolling with Ryan Murphy in lane 4, Andrew Monahan in lane 2, and Andrew Hines in lane 6.
Man, Monahan does it all for the Warriors. I think this is his 3rd event, and he's doing a distance event. In this event, you can see momentum swings change a lot. Whoever's got the lead in the beginning, sometimes people draft off other swimmers in other lanes. and try to pace it, because once again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So let's see what happens here. Let's see if Gluckstein and Holland can, bring home a top 1 through 3 finisher. Maybe go 1-2, maybe break into the top 3 and get back Warwick some more points here that they just lost in the last couple of events.
All right, the swimmers are set. They are off.
I don't know Caswell Gluckstein, but I have his brother, Kyle, who's a very entertaining student in my freshman class. We have good banter about things. He's got a lot of good knowledge beyond history.
Well, as it has been previously stated, you can't take too much stock into the beginning of this race, but it looks like it's a solid lead for Connor Holland here.
So Warwick out quick. We got a lot more laps to go. I believe 18, and this is one that you really have to pace. I was an endurance athlete. I didn't do swimming, but I remember, if you did track and field and you ran a 5K, that's almost 13 laps on an outdoor track. 10K, double that, 24, 25 laps. Those are events that they do have on the college level. So I guess mentally, this would be similar to that in a pool.
It is still Holland in the lead. He has a solid lead over everybody, but this is a race where people can start to fade pretty fast.
That's true. That could be a strategy. You take out the lead really hard, really aggressive, and you say to the guys, you got to come catch me. And sometimes you can break them mentally by doing that, saying like, wow, that lead is so far ahead. Why should I try to catch up to them? I'm already tired. And it becomes a mental head game. These individual sports, where you are on display the entire time, can be sometimes more mental than physical. So Holland holding on to that strong lead.
Holland is gaining on everybody. There's nobody near him as we're substantially into the race.
Yeah, and you'll see the guys with those numbers. They put them to count the laps for them, to help them out and cheer them on. And there's actually some strategy. Sometimes when they pump them fast up and down through the water, it means you need to pick up the pace. If they're going slow, it means you have a big lead. If they hold it steady, it means kind of steady. I remember watching that at the college I went to, because I was an athlete at the college I went to, and I was friends with some swimmers, and we had our conference meet hosted there, and they would tell me about all those nuances with the numbers in these really long distance races.
Yeah, I can't imagine, trying to swim 500 meters up, but I also have to count how many laps I've done.
Sure, yeah, yeah, that can happen in distance events. So you try to get to a groove, you try to get into a zone, you want to get into a rhythm, you want to be able to control your breathing, These are all kind of elements of these distance, endurance, gritty events. This is more grit than talent, really, if you ask me.
Yeah, and as we start getting deeper and deeper into the race, it just becomes a battle of, who wants it more, who's willing to put in more work to.
Oh, exactly. And it looks like Connor will be lapping some of the field here.
There's just one swimmer that's even on the same lap as him, and that I believe is Minisink's Andrew Manahan. Sorry. And but still, it's a very healthy lead.
So you got a couple Monahans there in Minisink. His brother Matt swung the 100 free. You got Andrew. It's a family affair there in Minisink. That happens a lot in sports. You got an older brother who's good at the sport. You look up to him, or an older sister, and maybe you try to carry out that family legacy. That's a pretty common theme in a lot of sports. Where you see your older sibling have success and you want to be like them. That's a good thing. That's a good thing in sports, in high school sports.
How about Connor Holland, though? We've talked about him already, but at 8th grade to be dominating at this level is just incredible. It's 2 full laps over second
I'm
place.
sure he's got to be very excited, and hopefully this is a sport he will continue to gravitate towards and enjoy his success and build upon these experiences. And hopefully this will help him for bigger meets. Now, these guys that know that they're good swimmers, sometimes you take the dual meet as a training meet, There's different situations. You might have a really good team like Monroe and Pine Bush are always strong teams, so they're always going to be vying for that Section 9 championship and that Orange County championship. If you're a pretty good swimmer on a team, that's not going to win a lot. If I was the coach, I would be trained through the season and be like, listen, our goal is to peak at the section meet and try to make the states, or train through the sections and let's try to place at Ithaca, get on the stand there. So it's different strategies based on your team scenario. There you go, and there's that bell ring. Motivation. The 8th grader taking it to all the rest of the competition.
This is just an incredible performance. We don't have the numbers out here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this breaks some kind of personal record for him as he enters his final lap down the pool.
And if you're that swimmer, I'm sure you can't hear a lot, but you hear the nuances. You want to be pushed, you want to be egged on. So the 8th grader, Connor Holland, will take first place for the Cats. Looks like he's not even tired. He must be in some really great shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I mean, we still have swimmers who have like 4 or 5 laps to go.
I mean, yeah, he's lapped the field, and we still got Caswell Gluckstein, really gritting it out in lane 5.
It looks like Manayan is going to take second place with a very respectable time. Sorry, I must have miscounted the lap.
That's
there.
okay. We got another lap to go. It's a long race. It's easy to miscount. That's why we have lap counters. I one time went to a track invitational at Brown where they miscounted for the entire field a 2-mile.
Oh, wow.
And one of the runners realized it, kept running, and when they awarded the medals, this is a big invitation for the entire East Coast, it was just a big, tremendous mess. So they ran 3,000 meters instead of 3,200 meters in that kind. I remember that. So, lap counters are good because sometimes you're so focused on your race, you're going to lose track.
Yeah, absolutely. So 3 swimmers are done right now. We still are waiting
Lane
on the final
6
2.
for Minisink, which is Andrew Hines, still going.
As well as Warwick swimmer Caswell Gluckstein, I believe.
Caswell. Kyle's the brother I was speaking to earlier. He's a freshman. Freshman in my global honors class.
Here's
And
Caswell.
then Gluckstein will finish with Coach Mahan congratulating him, going for the high five there, saying good work. I mean, that's a gritty event. You got to put a lot out there, a lot of training, and it's long. And like you said, it could feel like a marathon at times. So Warwick gets the W in that. I'm pretty sure 2 and 3 went to the Warriors. 500 free, it will be the longest race in the pool today, and then we'll get ready for the next race. We got a relay, actually, the 200 free relay.
That is incredible, to be able to complete this in just over 5 minutes.
And look at Connor Holland. I mean, beating the next finisher by 52 seconds.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, pretty dominant performance by the 8th grader there. Very impressive. Bright future for him to come here in Wildcat country. So if you look to the left of the scoreboard there, do or do not, try or try not. Anthony C. Quinn, who this pool's named after, loved Yoda and he loved Star Wars. So that's a tribute to him. And his parents were longtime coaches who just recently retired. Very good people.
Up now we have what I think is one of the most fun events, the 200 free relay. You got 4 swimmers, each just, 50 yards as fast as they can. This should be fun.
Once again, I've been saying this reference all day, all night, is that this is like a backyard swimming race with your whole community. It's like, hey, let's go in. 1 lap back and forth. Get your 4 best. I'll get my 4 best. Let's see who wins. This is a fun race. So it's a crawl. It's a freestyle relay. And I think the Cats have 3 teams here. Am I correct?
Yes, we do. 3 teams, while the Warriors are rolling out 3 as well. So we have a packed pool here. Thomas McNamara, Ben Pittiger, and Benai Kamath are leading off for the Wildcats. The Warriors, we have Ivanov, Griffin Worthington, and Matt Sheridan. They are off. It's going to be a hard one to follow. We will do the best we can.
Yes, we will. So McNamara in 1, Pittiger in lane 3, Vinay Kamath in lane 5.
It is Dennis Ivanov off to the quick start for the Warriors. But Pittiger is retaking the lead for Warwick.
Ben Pittiger's a great kid. I had him in class too. Who will touch the wall first? Looks like they tied to me.
Yeah. Both have put their teams in perfect position here.
And the second legs were very anxious, very quick off that block. Once again, Warwick loses the lead here to Minisink A.
This is the brother of Dennis Ivanov, I'm assuming, Nick Ivanov.
Yeah, the Ivanov brothers, Nick Ivanov in lane 4, maintaining the lead. Warwick slightly behind.
Still very well in striking distance, though. Looks like Warwick had a slow jump, like a delay or something, and that threw him back a little. It's Michael Kelly, the sophomore here, though. He's gaining on the competition.
Michael Kelly, Wildcat pride, trying to get that home pool advantage, not giving up this relay that easily. As leg 3 will go into the anchor leg. For us, that'll be Caden Nagel. Oh, Warwick gaining a lot of momentum, a lot of ground. Anchor leg, here we go. Let's see what happens.
It is all down to this Caden Nagel versus Ryan Murphy. It's really down to 2 teams. Unfortunately, it looks like Murphy has really gained on Nagel.
Murphy on the flip turn is just taking it over right here, taking the lead, being very aggressive. He's feeling that touchpad on the wall. It looks like Minisink A will finish in first place.
Nagel.
Warwick with a very valiant effort, but Caden Nagel just falls a little short to Minisink A as the other relay squads will finish this quick shot relay, which is a lot of fun, backyard swimming in the summer.
That was a fun one to cover.
Lot to cover. You know, you got 5 relay teams in the pool. That I think it looked like Minisink finishing there in lane 1.
The 2 outer lanes, I think, ended up being a bit delayed there.
Very exciting race. Too bad it didn't go the Wildcats' way, but it was exciting to cover, exciting to watch. So we got a stroke coming up. I don't think we've seen all day. Have we seen the backstroke all day?
Only in one of the medleys.
Yeah.
No individual races.
Yeah.
This is the 100 backstroke. We're going to have senior Kyle Sass in lane 1 for the Wildcats, junior Jesse Abramson in lane 3, and junior Yusuf Mustafa in lane 5. Meanwhile, the Warriors will be rolling out Jackson Hugis, who has won a match already today, in lane 4, Anthony Kukuza in lane 2, and Nick Ivanov in lane 6. In
a brief discussion with Coach Mahan pre-meet, I was talking to her about Jesse and his progression as a swimmer, and he said he's going for a potential state standard today and a potential personal record, so I'm sure he'd feel really good about that. I think he's pretty well rested. I feel like we haven't called his name in a while in the event, so let's see if Jesse can really take it to the competition, get the Wildcats closer back to the team lead, and have a state qualifying time. I think those are his goals in this race today.
He's also stated he has he wants to get on the board in as many places as possible. I believe he has 4 of his times up on that board, whether it's as by himself or in a medley.
And notice in the race how they don't start in the block. They start in the pool, holding the bar, and they push up the bar, and they just propel themselves backwards into the pool. It looks like Jesse Abramson in lane 3 with a great start there.
It's crazy how far ahead he is when you consider this race. I mean, just started.
You know, and this is a unique stroke because you have to be fluid. You have to be strong but fluid, so it's a lot of strength but a lot of finesse. Mastering the strokes in swimming is important because if you don't master the actual technique, you can waste a lot of energy. As Jesse is just taking it to the competition here, going for that state standard.
Yeah, he is tearing through everyone here. He is coming up on at the end of his 3rd lap, he's got a full half lap above 2nd place. That's Jackson Hooters in 2nd, I believe. Abramson easily wins this one. We're going to see his final time.
I'm sure he's going to look right up at the board to see if he hit the state standard.
What it'll be. Does not seem that impressed.
Doesn't seem that pleased. Let's see who takes 2nd here. It looks like lane 4, Anthony Kukuza for the Warriors. Did Warwick take 3rd as well?
Yes, they did. That's Yusuf Mustafa.
Good job, Yusuf. That's going to help with the team points.
We are still waiting on the final swimmer. That's going to be Kyle Sass for the Wildcats.
Kyle Sass plays football. I had Kyle Sass in sports history. He loves jerseys. Tons of jerseys. As you can see, the time's up there on the board. Are you impressed with that 55.57?
Yeah, it's a very solid time. Jesse obviously wasn't. I'm sure he has a little more in the tank. Oftentimes when you see a guy disappointed, that he probably must know, he could have given a little more and he knows he's capable of it. I'm sure we'll see him.
I don't know what the goal was, if it was a state qualifying time he wanted to hit, but I don't know what the exact time is, but it looks like he was just slightly disappointed in his body language when he touched the wall at the end.
I mean, we can't be too negative on a guy who won a race by 9 seconds.
No, I'm in total agreement with you. Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have our 100-yard breaststroke. Lane 1 for the Wildcats will be Vinay Kamath, Jr. Lane 3 will have senior Xander Trezino. And lane 5 will have junior Ben Pittiger. The Warriors will roll out Jack Bellatier, who we were told was the star swimmer, in lane 4, Andrew Monahan in lane 2, and Griffin Worthington in 6.
I think this will be a tough race for Warwick to score points, and I think this is the Warriors' strong suit race. Let's see what happens. The meet is really close right now. It'll probably come down to the 400 free relay, which is the event after this.
Each team's going to have two lanes in that one.
And you saw Minisink touch the wall there first. This is the breaststroke, so these guys are popping in and out of the pool. A lot of chest, a lot of shoulder. Oh, it's neck and neck between the Warriors and the Cats. Here we go. Final lap here. What a great touch off the wall for both of them. Maximizing the push off there and trying to conserve energy.
It looks like Warwick has pulled ahead by about a half length. This one will go down to the wire.
Close. This flip turn is so important here. Warwick maintains the lead.
We're looking. It looks like Bellatier has fallen slightly behind still. This is neck and neck.
Is that Pittiger in the lead in lane 5?
Yes, I believe we're looking at Pittiger, and it looks like he is going to come away with the win.
Pittiger touches first, big win. Lane 4 for Minisink, touches in second. Battle for third place here. Looks like Warwick, lane 3. Xander Trezino. Warwick will take a first and a third. Minisink in lane 2 will take fourth place. And then touching down in fifth would be lane 1.
Two huge finishes there for the Wildcats.
This is a really close meet. I mean, I don't know if I can run over to the scorers table, the point table, and get the points, but I think it's going to come down right to this 400 free relay, because when I talked to Coach Mahan after the dive competition, she told me to go to the scorers table, and Warwick was up 2 points. And I feel like each event has been going back and forth. I think Warwick might be in the lead here. I'm not really sure, though.
Yeah,
that is a long walk for me.
They took the 100 backstroke and the 100 breaststroke. You know, they took first and third there, so that definitely pulled them ahead by a lot.
Maybe we can get a stat person or our production manager, Dano, to check in for us, and then we can have a little point total going into this final event, the 400 free relay. 'Cause I think the meet is riding on this event.
We're going to set the stage for you here. This 400 free relay will feature two groups on each team. Jesse Abramson and Aiden Corrigan are the lead men for the Wildcats. It will be Ryan Murphy in lane 4 and Dennis Ivanoff starting off for the Warriors. These are basically all swimmers that we've seen, you know, all day today, really. So this will be fun.
Well, so these guys are jacked up. They're 4-3, and Minisink has been a traditional rival to Warwick in many sports. Let's see what happens in this race.
Minisink
as they jump off the block.
Yeah. For the record, is sitting at a half game ahead of Warwick in the standings. This would be huge to, you know, pull ahead here.
So we are down 9 points right now.
So it will take it'll take a huge race here. You really need to take first and second to even have a shot. I'm not positive on the scoring, but it does look like Minisink is firmly entrenched in second place. Although Jesse Abramson, you know, great job to give his team a big lead to start off. He's 50 meters into his 100 meters.
Well, I think sometimes when you need to win a relay, you have to assess your order, and Jesse Abramson is the best swimmer, so to stay in the race or to get a lead or to try to mentally cut into the other team, you establish a big lead. And I think that's a strategy right there by the Warwick coaching staff.
Wow, look at what's going on with Minisink. This swimmer, who I believe is Anthony Kukuza, is really gaining on Warwick. Jesse Abramson established lead, but Caden Nagel is struggling to hang on to it.
And the third leg for Warwick A will be Youssef Mustafa.
He's been great all day.
Let's see if Caden can maintain the lead here, though. as Minisink is gaining some momentum on Warwick A.
Nagel just has to hold on for one more lap. You know, don't get yourself into too much damage.
This second leg from Minisink is swimming a very impressive leg here to get them back in the lead. He might actually get them the lead.
Yeah, it looks like he's pulled slightly ahead.
They're neck and neck. They're tied right now. Let's see if Yusuf Mustafa can get it back. I think they touched it almost exactly the same time.
It's going to be Mustafa and Jack Bellatier. Bellatier has been great all day. Both these guys really have.
Now, Jack and Yusuf both have to be careful here, especially Yusuf, is when you are neck and neck, sometimes you go more aggressive and you lose your stroke. You lose your finesse, and that could really waste a lot of energy. It's called the maintaining of form.
Mustafa fell a little behind. It looks like Bellatier has gained himself the lead.
It's a great flip turn there by Jack.
Closing this out will be Jackson Hudris and Connor Holland. So we've seen the 8th grader do some great stuff today.
The 8th grader is very impressive. One thing that might be tough for him is he swam the 500 freestyle, which is a grueling race. We'll find out about his grittiness at a very young age really quickly as he anchors this Warwick A 400 free relay team.
Yeah, it would take a miracle to come back from this, though. I mean, Jackson Hudris has been a great swimmer all day, and I'm assuming all season. We are waiting on Mustafa to touch, so Holland can start and try and bring his team back into this.
A lot of energy in the pool. You see the Minisink coach urging her team in this relay, trying to secure the dual meet victory.
Minisink is just 50 yards away from victory here. Holland appears to be gaining on Hudris, but nowhere near fast enough. Looks like the writing's on the wall here, unfortunately. It looks like we've lost track of, third place race.
Yes.
If Warwick is going to have a chance, they need to take that. I'm not sure how much exactly this race is worth.
Well, it's been a very great meet here, and it's very exciting. Minisink just sealed the deal on the victory right there.
Holland
in the team score. Very valiant effort by Holland. Very impressed, 8th grader. He's swimming great distances and coming back to anchor this 400 free relay. So the future is bright for young Holland.
We just saw the handshake, a small conversation between the two opponents. Looks like there's a lot of respect between these two programs.
Yeah, there's been some great Minisink Warwick football battles over these, but now we're not in the same division anymore. We're not in the same classification. We're AA and they're still A. So Warwick's going to come up a little short here in this dual meet. It's very exciting to do the color analysis with you, Theo. We got a bright future here for some of the Cats. We saw Jesse Abramson swim some very impressive races, and we're in mid-season here for the Cats, so they'll fall to 4-4. And I had a good time doing this meet with you, Theo.
Yeah, it was great. Hope to do this again someday.